There's a real delight in being able to be a present parent. And it's a luxury sometimes because we all have to work. We all have a lot of stuff to do. But when you can take a minute to just...
Saturday morning.
Yeah. Mornings are as I get the kids off to school. You're making fruit parfait crudité boards? Like, oh my whom? God. She is...
Tom Bauer, the man who built his career on dismantling the powerful with nothing but hard evidence and a pen like a scalpel, has just dropped the most damning allegations of his career. In his latest exposé, Bauer doesn't accuse Prince Harry of discontent or rebellion. He accuses him of design, of plotting, of undermining. The claims are jaw-dropping. Bauer alleges that Prince Harry was orchestrating a long-running, covert strategy to erode the monarchy from within. Not through public interviews. Not through Netflix documentaries.
Before we even get to the main event.
When the stakes are this high, doesn't it make more sense to hear our story from us?
Oh, shut up. What do you mean the stakes are this high? Who do you think you are? Other than a latte-munching imbecile.
Harry Sussex? I have no idea. And no, Meghan, no one knew that. Like, why are you correct?
The whole Meghan Markle situation has been getting out of control, not just over at Netflix, but also at other studios ever since she posted that viral video, that pregnancy video.
But through encrypted messages, coded directives, and a spiderweb of carefully planted narratives across media platforms. WhatsApp group chats, Signal threads, private emails routed through international servers. It was all allegedly part of a larger system Harry used to communicate with insiders still embedded within the royal machine. One of those insiders, reportedly under a non-disclosure agreement, told Bauer that the plan was described as a chess game, not a tantrum. The term being thrown around behind palace doors? Strategic sabotage. And it doesn't stop there.
I'm going to show you how to make a happy, warm, loving home after I have successfully severed my husband's ties from his entire family.
Back of your head. This gruesome twosome only survived by cashing in on what's left of their royal status now. I said it before, I'll say it again tonight. King Charles should strip them of all their remaining titles and cast them out from any connection to the royal family. How could any of them trust them, as far as I could throw them? Because without it, they're just whining millennial windbags.
Hello all. Sorry we're late. Our flight was delayed.
It was mint, though. Tell them we were in mint.
They gave you a mint. How lovely. I have some gum in my purse if you'd like.
Oh, we were in mint. It's like their business class. It's really nice. And
Meghan, I'm begging you to stop now.
The exposé includes quotes from former aides, disgruntled staffers, and a shadowy figure described only as the architect, who supposedly coordinated message drops to carefully chosen journalists. The leaks weren't random. They were timed, calculated, connected to specific events, like royal tours, births, and even the Queen's funeral. According to Bauer, Harry's fingerprints were on it all. This wasn't a one-off emotional outburst. This was structure, framework, engineering. And now, the walls of the palace aren't just rattling, they're crumbling. He vanished like a ghost.
Favourite little niece, Ashley. Meghan also sees she got no advice on royal protocol, forcing her to learn how to be a princess all on her own.
Joining this family, I knew that there was a protocol for how things were done. There's no class in some person who goes sit like this.
That really backfired not just on whatever was left of her image, or even, of course, what she actually likes to pretend herself as some form of an actress, as some kind of a personality, whatever it may be.
Press show her wearing pretty much every colour in the rainbow. The show opens with the claim that the royal family declined to comment on the series. That's another lie. The palace says it received one email from an unknown company and attempts to verify it with
Within 24 hours of Bauer's explosive report lighting up global headlines, Prince Harry reportedly disappeared. Not to LA, not to Canada, but to the Swiss Alps. High above the noise, beyond the reach of press, and far from the chaos he allegedly helped create. Insiders say the timing wasn't coincidental. It was surgical. He didn't just retreat. He fled. Sources close to the Sussex circle claim Harry boarded a private jet under a false manifest name, with only 2 close aides in tow.
We already know that Meghan Markle is desperately clinging to whatever opportunity arises to stay in the limelight, to stay in the spotlight as, of course, a so-called actress. That's basically what she's trying to do.
This also follows all the stories about her bullying staff over here in the UK, which is unresolved. NDAs stopped all that stuff coming out, but she bullied people in a very unpleasant way over here.
Now, we already know that many studios are beginning to really find her very repulsive based on her behavior, not just in the public eye, but also within Netflix, all right?
His destination, an ultra-exclusive chalet in the Graubünden region, surrounded by frozen pines and guarded by private security. No phones, no statements, just a wall of silence. And that silence? Deafening. To many in the palace, it was confirmation. The moment Bauer's accusations dropped, Harry ran. But it wasn't fear, it was strategy. Switzerland, with its history of discreet exile, banking secrecy, and isolated terrain, wasn't chosen at random. It was picked because it offers exactly what Harry needs right now: invisibility. But back in London, the optics are burning a hole through Buckingham's marble floor. A prince once hailed as a modern-day reformer is now being framed as a fugitive in exile.
Harry and Meghan are the problem. And while we're going to go over all the people that they've hired, just as a great reminder, the couple have hired plenty of professionals before. People at high levels who have worked for Bill Gates, Patagonia, all these sorts of things. And yet none of them have been successful. The common denominator in everything here is Harry and Meghan.
Now, what's interesting here has a lot more to do with the entire Meghan Markle firings situation and exactly what's going on there ever since the viral video really went viral across not just social media, but also within the corporate ladder.
Photos of his snow-covered hideout have already begun circulating online, with captions like "From royal duty to royal disappearance." And inside the palace, there's growing speculation that this so-called retreat is part of a larger effort to let the media storm implode before he reemerges with a carefully calculated response. Because Harry may be in the mountains, but he's watching. And what comes down from those snowy peaks could change everything. This wasn't rebellion, it was a blueprint. Tom Bauer's investigation pulls no punches. According to his sources, Harry didn't just break away from the monarchy, he built an alternative structure from the inside out. A network. A system. One designed to fracture the foundation of royal influence, brick by brick. At the heart of it were financial trails hidden under the guise of consulting fees.
Now, what's interesting about all of this is that we already know that Meghan Markle is actually trying to do whatever that she can do to fund her own programs, to fund her own projects as well. We already know that she has backup plans to actually fund her very own reality TV series if no other studio picks it up. We already know that she's trying to get MTV.
Wanting to exploit their royal titles, I think it stinks. And I think what King Charles should do, he should just strip them of the titles. How to? If you excuse the massive book deals, the Silicon Valley startups, the preaching videos about well-being, the podcasts, the speeches, and the major network interviews with everyone from Oprah Winfrey to James Corden. But they've barely been seen or heard at all, have they? Well, on Thursday, they'll quietly and apologetically release their $100 million.
Dozens of discrete transactions, routed through shell accounts and media entities with vague mission statements, were allegedly traced back to individuals within Harry's personal orbit. These weren't your standard post-exit salaries or charitable funds. These were strategic investments into what Bauer calls narrative warfare. Targeted media campaigns, coordinated exposés, leaked emails that curiously coincided with major royal events. In one instance, Bauer claims a payment to a now-defunct London-based media group was made just days before a scandalous headline about Prince William's alleged temper hit the front pages. Coincidence? Unlikely. The group's lead editor was later revealed to have had direct contact with a Sussex aide. Even more damning, palace audits. Quiet, internal, and never meant for public release. Reportedly flagged multiple names receiving repeat payments that coincided with the couple's growing media offensive. Those names? Not journalists. Not staff. Operators. Former palace staffers who turned. Media liaisons who defected. Communications consultants whose contracts mysteriously ended just before new Sussex media ventures began. One of Bower's anonymous interviewees, a former Kensington Palace official, described Harry's role in blunt terms. This wasn't about escaping. It was about replacing. Dismantle the institution, discredit the heirs, and step into a new role as global royalty, untethered from duty. These weren't rumors. They were receipts. And now that Bower has laid them bare for the world to see, there's no putting the genie back in the bottle. Because what's been revealed isn't just sabotage. It's construction. A new kingdom, with Harry at the center. The moment Bower's exposé hit the press, Buckingham Palace reportedly descended into chaos. According to insiders, senior advisors were roused from bed for an emergency session just before dawn. One aide, visibly shaken, was allegedly overheard muttering a single word in disbelief as they entered the crisis meeting. Traitor. That word, once unthinkable in connection to a royal bloodline, now echoes through the marbled corridors of power like a curse. King Charles, known for maintaining a calm exterior even in tense times, was reportedly livid yet eerily silent. And that silence? It terrified those around him. Within hours, top courtiers, press secretaries, and security advisors assembled in the monarch's private chambers to assess the fallout. There were no smiles, no jokes, no spin, just raw panic. Insiders say two camps immediately emerged. One group, primarily composed of legacy advisors from the Queen's reign, argued for immediate containment. Silent diplomacy, they called it. The idea? Quash the story behind closed doors, negotiate privately, and avoid giving it oxygen. The second group, younger and media-savvy, disagreed. They pushed for open confrontation, full denial, strategic distancing, and caught in the middle, the king. Royal commentators have since speculated that this moment marks a defining fracture in the monarchy, not just between Harry and the firm, but within the firm itself. For the first time in decades, the question of who speaks for the monarchy is uncertain. But there's one thing everyone agrees on. This is no ordinary scandal. This is warfare within the walls. One royal historian noted that even in the wake of Charles and Diana's public collapse, the institution never questioned the existence of its members.
But now,
that same institution is reportedly questioning whether Prince Harry still belongs. As one palace official allegedly put it, "We didn't just lose a duke. We may have bred a defector." And with Harry hiding in the icy silence of the Alps, the palace is asking a question it never imagined having to voice. Is he planning to dismantle the crown, or is this the final stage of his self-destruction? While the palace scrambled behind closed doors, the public storm outside had already turned feral. Within minutes of the exposé's release, Twitter, now rebranded as X, was a battlefield. Hashtags like #HarryPlot, #SwissSaboteur, and #Royals Under Siege dominated the platform, trending in both the UK and US within an hour. Videos dissecting Bower's claims started popping up across YouTube, some calm, others rabid, all viral. A single clip titled, "Is Prince Harry the Enemy Within?" racked up over 2 million views in just 12 hours. TikTok influencers chimed in, creating side-by-side reaction videos, dramatic reenactments, and even conspiracy deep dives. One particularly viral video claimed Harry's departure wasn't exile, it was extraction. A strategic vanishing act meant to keep him shielded while chaos consumed the monarchy. Reddit, meanwhile, was on fire. In forums like r/Saint Meghan Markle and r/Royals Gossip, users engaged in heated debates. A highly upvoted post read, "They're planning a scorched earth campaign together. Harry is the decoy, Meghan the architect." The sentiment is clear. What was once a divisive topic, Harry the brave whistleblower versus Harry the exiled black sheep, has shifted. Sympathy is decaying. Suspicion is festering. Online polls show a sharp dip in public trust, particularly among younger royal watchers who had previously supported the Sussexes. Many now question the intent behind every public appearance, every podcast, every Oprah soundbite. And as the narrative spreads beyond the UK, the global perception of the British royal family is once again on edge. Media outlets in Australia, Canada, and even parts of Europe have begun echoing the same question. Was Prince Harry ever really leaving the crown, or was he quietly trying to burn it down? The narrative has outgrown royal PR. It's now in the hands of creators, critics, and citizens around the world. And with Harry silent in Switzerland, each passing hour only fuels the fire. Because the longer he says nothing, the louder the storm grows. For a prince who once stood center stage, Harry now finds himself boxed in from every direction. According to sources familiar with entertainment law, Bauer's revelations could trigger contractual implosions. Media companies that worked with Harry, Netflix, Penguin Random House, even Spotify before its exit, may now be forced to review clauses about reputational risk. If even a fraction of the claims in Bauer's report prove verifiable, Harry could face breach of contract lawsuits worth millions. And it doesn't end there. Civil suits could be filed by individuals or entities implicated in the alleged smear campaigns. Former aides targeted in media leaks. Journalists pressured behind the scenes. Even royal staffers whose careers were damaged by orchestrated narratives. If Harry directed any of those moves, he could face courtroom chaos in both the UK and US. Meanwhile, legal experts point out one major issue. He's in Switzerland, a nation with famously rigid privacy laws, but also a long-standing reputation for neutrality. That may protect him from the press, but not from legal service. If warrants or depositions come calling, Swiss neutrality won't be enough to shield him. And Harry's inner circle knows it. Sources say his legal team is scrambling, reviewing years of messages, financial transactions, and contracts for anything that could be perceived as strategic orchestration. Damage control plans are reportedly being drafted. One PR advisor allegedly suggested issuing a preemptive clarification video, but the idea was shot down for being too defensive, too soon. And through all of it, Harry remains silent. Silent, but surrounded. Because once a man branded as a symbol of vulnerability and honesty is framed as the mastermind of betrayal, the public doesn't wait for trials. They rewrite his legacy in real time. And right now, that legacy is teetering between exile and infamy. The crown trades on unity and reliability. Harry's alleged actions crack that foundation. Embassies are whispering. Foreign leaders raise eyebrows. Advisors are evaluating damage and crafting defense, but morale inside Buckingham is faltering. Courtiers fear that if insiders act as saboteurs, the entire institution loses legitimacy. The monarchy's public contract depends on integrity, unity, continuity. Now that contract feels breached, and restoration could cost more than just titles. Just when the story seems set, a twist emerges. A palace memo is said to have leaked, showing internal disagreements about how to respond to Bauer's claims. Royal sources allege someone in the inner circle is preparing to leak contrasting evidence, screenshots, timestamps, alternative narratives, to paint Bauer's account as flawed or forged. If that leak happens, Harry may return, not as the fugitive, but as the redemptive disruptor. A live message from the ALPS defending his actions could flip this scandal into a comeback. But will it be vindication or the final undoing? So, where does this leave us? Tom Bauer's allegations didn't just rattle the gates, they shook the very pillars of the monarchy. Prince Harry, once seen as the disillusioned rebel, now stands accused of something far more calculated, a deliberate, strategic effort to destabilize the crown from within. Not by accident, not in protest, but by design. He didn't just walk away from the institution, he may have tried to bring it down from the inside. And now, while his team fumbles for damage control, Harry is tucked away in the Swiss Alps, watching the fallout unfold from afar. A silent figure in the snow, while inside Buckingham Palace, the word, traitor, echoes louder than ever before. The public isn't just questioning Harry's loyalty. They're questioning the monarchy's ability to survive internal betrayal. Because if someone born into royalty could allegedly plot its destruction, what does that say about the system itself? This isn't a feud. This is war. Quiet, elite, and possibly still unfolding. The real question is, will Harry return swinging with a counterattack, or has he already won? Because in this game of crowns, silence can be just as loud as a confession. And the crown may never be the same again.